All right. Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Red Light Podcast. And on this week's episode, we have Lou Owens. We have Nain.
Yo.
We have Betsy.
You're
And yeah, so tell us about yourself, man.
Yeah, man. So my name's Lou, and I was born here. I was born in Cuba. I came when I was young, stayed in Miami. I got into fashion, to be honest, around high school, especially when his ass was always on me like, yo, why you dressing fresh, bro? It's just school. I'm like, hey, man, maybe I'm up to something. So I started taking it seriously after that and moved out to Houston, made a couple key connections, and now I'm doing everything I'm doing with VBTL and Akina. So.
Explain VBTL. Like, what is it? What does it stand for?
So I can't really say what it stands for. That's confidential, but
Gotcha.
VBTL, it's like a bridge, man. It's like a collective, like an agency, like Donda, Og, full of creatives, and we host fashion shows, galleries, music shows in different cities, and we just bring out like the whole creative community and just make sure everybody that deserves a spotlight gets a chance to showcase and all that. And yeah, man, it's just great. Like, we done Houston, Miami, and recently we did LA.
Yeah.
And it's just great to see like everybody come together. Like, you got people from Miami connecting with people from Houston, so it's a bridge.
That's crazy. How'd you get, like, what made you decide that you wanted to do this and take it so seriously and even going to Houston?
Well, my move to Houston, man, to be honest, I was getting like, before that, I kind of was like on some dumb young shit. I was getting like kicked out of my mom's and dad's crib, and I guess I was just frustrated, and I just made the move to Houston by myself. And I had someone out there to stay with, but then I don't know if you guys know about Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, that shit hit, and that like took my car, took the apartment I was living in.
Fuck.
And yeah, I was kind of like couch hopping and shit for like a good 2 or 3 months, just hitting up people on Twitter.
Yeah.
From over there. And but whatever, I got back on my feet, thank God. And then Mark, he moved out to Houston, and we started going out to the scene over there, and just meeting people, and that's how it came together, to be honest, was in Houston. Houston has a very creative scene.
Yeah, how's that whole scene like? Because I know like lately it's been like being a bit more, like you can see it now with like the grills, like Maxwell Cream, ASAP, and everything. Like, how's the scene down there for like your perspective?
It's underrated, to be honest with you. They have mad creators. I mean, from a fashion standpoint, you could see like the people we have on our shows. A lot of them are from Houston, like Palicos, Question Marco. Those are guys from Houston. The music scene too. You got this kid, Baby Cody. He's bubbling over there.
Yeah.
It's a good scene, underrated.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember like when you were living out here for the first time, when you had the braids. Like, that's when I first heard of you. And then, like, I saw that you, like, dipped to Houston, and, like, I saw that there was, like, a big following for you more in Houston, and you're, like, one of those cases of which you always blow up somewhere else before your hometown.
Yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't call it blowing up.
Well,
I'm still
bubbling.
Yeah. But definitely in Houston, like, I did notice, like, I got a lot more love over there. People gravitated towards what I was trying to do. Yeah. I guess they understood it more, I guess. And most definitely, it's always been hard, like, I guess in your own city, people kind of.
What is that you're trying to do?
What you mean? What would, like?
Because when you said that how you said that people in Houston kind of understand more what you're trying to do. What is it that you're trying to do?
I mean, they understood the concept of VBTL very early on. They understood like, alright, man, it's some group of young creatives, and basically they're trying to like bring together communities so people get opportunities. That's all it is. It's not even for me. It's not for no one in VBTL. VBTL is basically for anybody that's in the creative scene, man. That's what I want people to understand is this is your opportunity. The structure that we make is for y'all to take advantage and give yourself a platform to showcase whether you're a designer, an artist, photographer. We give opportunities to a bunch of people, whatever city we're in.
What would you consider yourself when people ask you, what are you and what do you do?
I'm a creative, man. I like designing, I like styling, I like modeling. Shit, I mean, I'm into like, I like interior design too. You know, eventually
Yeah.
I'll get into that. So I'm just all for like creativity and all that. So yeah.
Creating shit.
Exactly, yeah. I don't like to like box myself in
Yeah.
one thing at all.
Who inspired you to even get into everything that you're doing and gave you that passion, that drive?
To get into like
Yeah, to get into like what you love.
um I think it's just always been there, to be honest with you, man. It's just something I always used to like to do. Like I used to do like small photo shoots. And you know, I saw like people kind of fucked with it. But you know, I guess with time, you just evolve as a person.
Yeah.
So, you know, you start getting more ideas, you start understanding more stuff. A lot of times, like, I consider, like, all my failures have been, like, my biggest accomplishments.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you learn a lot from failures, and that's what's helped me, like, refine how I move and the things I do. So, I definitely think it's always been there, to be honest.
Yeah. How's the whole process of throwing a show in LA? Because that's like it's not easy for a lot of people to do,
Yeah.
especially with the space you had.
Yeah, no, it's stressful, especially LA. That was like really our big first test, cause like Miami, I knew people. I'm from Miami, you know,
Yeah.
so I know people. In Houston, I lived in Houston.
Yeah.
You know, we knew people over there. LA, we didn't really know anybody at all, so it was really like our first test, like off our own will, and it was stressful, bro. It's like, you know, a lot of reaching out, a lot of like contact, especially because there's like a 3-hour difference.
Yeah.
So sometimes
It's
it was like
tough.
a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was just a lot of, you know, being on top of things. You know, it's not that easy when you're not there
Yeah.
to organize an event.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially for like an up and coming brand that, in comparison to like any other brand, and like the big houses, you guys, you know, you're just practically starting out, and
Yeah,
getting
they
like the
don't-
space you guys got, and at the speed you guys got it is insane.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you just gotta make it happen. That's all.
And who's the main team around you around VBTL?
Who's like
The
people
team
in-
around you, like who do you work with?
Yeah, I mean, you got two of them right here. We got Marcus. You know, he handles like all the business stuff.
Yeah.
You got Mark. He's a photographer. And then you got designers like Esla for Palicos, Marco, Corrupt. He stays in New York.
He's hard. I saw him at this thrift store in Wynwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw him there with some girl, and like I was like, yo,
He had the spider web.
yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, who the fuck is this dude? Cause like I saw him wearing the ASAP Rocky shoes. Like, remember that guy we saw at the thrift store? He was like in the back.
That's
Yeah, him. Yeah, he's one of the designers. And like I saw him, I was like, yo, this dude's dripped the fucked out. Yeah, and he was like a really cool guy. Like we said a couple words and that was it. But and then I saw like what he made and everything, like all the one of ones, and I was like, yo, this is dope as fuck.
Oh
Nah,
well,
he
yeah.
crazy, he
I
go
vividly
crazy.
remember that
Yeah.
time. I vividly remember that.
But yeah, like how do you like decide to like, you know, go the route of a fashion show? Because usually most brands decide to, you know, I'm gonna do a couple online releases,
Release a
and
lookbook or
then-
two.
Yeah, like when we decide to go straight into fashion show.
Well, for BBT, I mean BBTL is not a
Well, I know, but
clothing.
like for your brand,
Well,
like when we like for you
for-
personally, yeah, like what made everyone
for
decide
Akina.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Akina wasn't in the LA show.
Uh-huh.
You know, we started we really started marketing
Yeah.
and launching mid-March, to be
Uh-huh.
honest. So we are
Wow,
releasing
that's
like
insane.
lookbooks and all that, editorials, and we're doing a pre-sale April 12th. So you know, it's fairly new. We're not in the fashion show yet.
It wasn't.
Nah, it
That's
wasn't in the
crazy.
Do you
fashion
plan
show.
opening it?
Yeah, most definitely. I'll start working on the collection tomorrow.
What's the inspiration for this drop and what you're doing so far?
The inspiration?
Yeah.
I mean, I draw inspiration from Og, Donda, that's Kanye's agency. You know, all these creative houses inspired BBTL. You know, I always knew like in order to like make yourself like your brand grow, and you need a team around you. So I always had that concept in my head, and just seeing them gave me the blueprint to start BBTL. So they're a big part of why this is what it is today.
How's it for your parents seeing that like their kid that like was once causing trouble that made that he just left to coming back home to he's like doing shit and like it's working? How's that?
I mean, they're just starting to understand.
Yeah.
Because it's working, like you said.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, they never understood like yo, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck's he doing traveling like for no reason? So
Especially for like a Hispanic mom seeing their
Oh,
kid
yeah.
like, away from home like
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
What's your ethnicity?
He's a Cuban,
It's
man.
Cuban.
Cuban, right?
Cuban, yeah. Full Cuban, yeah.
Just
He was born in
yeah,
Cuba.
you were born in Cuba.
Yeah, like how do you want like react about that? Like, was she like super like scary? Was she scared about it? Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like how she like, reacted to that? Cause that's like,
Man, Cuban moms.
We wanna go to-
He got balls.
dude, like we want to go to Orlando. Like my mom's like tweaking already about it, and like we've done like a few like trips like for like other shit. And like my mom tweaks, like how was your mom about that? Your parents, like he just fucking left, and then the hurricane happening. Like how was that?
Ay, mi niño, te fuiste, mi niño. Regresa.
Yeah, of course she's stressed, but you gotta do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not gonna be there forever, so you gotta
Yeah.
like, you know, mold
Yeah.
your own life.
That's like Hispanics a lot are like that. Like they want to keep their kids like in the house.
Yeah,
and
no,
they
she
don't
was
wanna,
stressing, bro.
like
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
make sure like call you every like hour if she could. Yo, this and that, and for us to just be like, peace, we're out.
Yeah, they don't understand.
They
No.
don't get it. They're confused. They're hurt.
Most definitely.
It's hard for Hispanics, especially like in like generations before us, to really understand not taking the traditional route and like anything creative and artistic.
Yeah, and you hit a key point right there, because it's mostly like, alright, we brought you here to this country, so it's like, you're gonna go to school,
Yeah.
you're gonna go get your 4-year, your bachelor's or whatever, and you know you're gonna get your 401k, and you're gonna retire, and that's about it. So it's like when you take a different route, it's like, you know, it's like, what are you doing?
You're a failure.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider going to school?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got accepted into design school
For real?
recently.
Where
Yeah.
at?
Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Wow,
Where at?
that's crazy.
Aruba.
Congrats,
Yeah, I go-
man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you plan on going then?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't think I always tell myself like if I go back to school, man, it gotta be like
It's
some.
over with.
It gotta be some prestigious school. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not going to just any school. And most prestigious design schools are in Europe. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm jumping at that opportunity.
And mostly like all like the important things, because like you see like, all like the big fashion houses, everything's in Italy and all over Europe, and that's where they get like all the best garments, all the best textures, all the best material.
Yeah.
So like for
that's
you, like I'm
the
pretty sure that's for you,
birthplace.
that's a big ass deal. It's like, yo, I'm not gonna make Gildan shirts.
Nah, we wasn't making Gildan shit from the beginning. Nah, but yeah, that's the birthplace of fashion, to be honest with you, and yeah, I'm just blessed to have that opportunity.
How was it for you starting out like making out clothing? Because for most kids, they just print a shirt on Gildan or Hanes.
No, don't get
How-
me wrong.
how was it for you?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, bro. I had like 2 failed brand startups before this.
What are those called?
What was it called?
Yeah, brand.
Shit. One was called Outlandish. That never even saw the light. And the second one was called Concept Vague. But it was, it didn't go through. It didn't manifest the way we wanted to. But definitely, like I said, like all those failures are like my biggest accomplishments, because it's like, you really like realize, all right, this is what I need to do differently and all that. But no doubt, I started out printing and all that, embroidery on
Yeah.
beanies and stuff like that.
And do you do that yourself? Is everything like handmade by you? Like, do you have a touch in
No,
everything you
I
do?
mean, it's all in-house.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't have a manufacturer yet,
Oh,
but
really?
it's a team. Like, Mark has a good fair amount of knowledge, and he helps me out. For Akina, my co-designer, her name is Altu. She stays in Houston. She helps me out.
Yeah. How is it for you? Because I'm sure, like, as a creative, everyone tries to be hands-on in everything, and especially in clothing, you want to make sure you have the right threads you guys want.
Yeah,
and the right everything.
I'm big on detail. That's like one of my biggest things, bro. Like, I'm
Yeah.
big on detail. So everything I put out, I make sure it's like. I mean, you can't achieve perfection, but damn sure it's close to it.
Yeah.
Like, I make sure all the details are on point.
Because I saw, like, with you, like, with that shirt, I saw, like, post on Twitter, like, how it was, like, a cut and sew. And it's
Yeah,
like, it
no
was just, like, an
doubt.
idea you had, and, like, you put it on your
So far,
laptop,
by the way.
and then you just got it done.
Yeah, I mean that's how it starts, man. Like, yeah, this is all cut and sew. Yeah, the idea for this was just me. I was always like a fan of like cyber culture, like cyber culture movies, that
Yeah.
Y2K era,
Yeah.
and like what's that, Blade Runner and all that.
Oh yes.
They were
That
really
inspired
fire.
a lot of the collection. So
Far.
Like Akira. That movie's fire.
that's damn where the name Akina came from.
For real?
Really?
Yeah, 'cause like that anime is just
Akina.
like it embodies like
Dude.
So
all
what
that
is, what is it with
cyberpunk.
the name then? Yeah.
Like I said, like Akira, like kind of like what's the inspiration behind the name?
Yeah.
And you know, Akina is a Japanese female name. I think it's a beautiful name, so I just rolled with it. You know, even when I refer to my line, I refer to it as a her.
Yeah.
After that, I noticed like you know they have Akina Speed Stars, like Speed Star
Yeah.
thing. It's like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
I
about.
forgot there's a video game or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I saw Xavier Wolf also had like a song
Yeah.
called Akina. So, but yeah, most definitely Akira was the inspiration behind the name.
So for you, who do you draw your inspiration for? Like for dressing, like when you were growing up, like what type of kid were you, and like how would you dress and how would you follow?
I can't really say I had it like I never followed nobody when it came to dressing. To be honest, it
Mhm.
was kind of like, what am I gonna put on today? You know, I for sure did never like being like everybody else. You know, I got a lot of shit in high school because of that. Like, you know, like kids like, who the fuck you think he is, wearing the leather pants to school and shit.
Yeah.
But
What high school did you go to?
Ferguson,
Oh,
unfortunately.
makes
yeah.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You have
man.
uniforms, so you try and do
Crazy.
what you can with your uniform.
Oh, I mean, yeah, yeah, most definitely. You're like limited.
Yeah, so it really helps like you with like having to like go like the extra mile because it's like if you gotta wear a black tee and khakis, you gotta make sure your pants and your accessories are great.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta just make it work somehow. But most definitely, I don't think I had an inspiration. I just do me, to be honest.
What kind of kid were you in high school and in school?
Shit, bro, I was in like a bunch of AP classes. Like I was
Bro,
full
really?
out.
Nice.
I was a scholar.
You get good grades?
Yeah, my GPA was good. It was like 3.5.
That was dope. And you just didn't like decide to take a college route. You just like straight.
I went
like,
to FIU
Oh, you
for
did?
like
How's
a
that?
year.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Go Panthers.
Yeah.
Go Panthers.
I was taking. I majored in. I was majoring in journalism,
Yeah.
but you know, wasn't my thing, to be honest.
College isn't the best thing. Well, it is if it has to do with what you want to do, but if you can do it yourself and just go to
No, and I
YouTube
get a bunch of kids
university.
like telling me like, "Yo, I want to drop out. I want to drop out." I'm like, bro, don't drop out. Like, if you don't have like a solid plan of
Yeah.
what you want to do, don't drop out. Like,
Yeah.
just finish. That's all.
It's kind of hard because like a lot of kids just like I want to be a rapper, drops out the next day.
Drops
Yeah,
out.
So it's really hard because it's like if you don't have a plan, and it's not an organized plan, and you don't decide like not think of failures, but it's like you have to have like an ulterior route to take, because it's like yo, if this shirt fails, these pants are gonna be fire.
Yeah, you talking about like having like a plan B?
Yeah, it's having a plan B essentially.
I mean, I personally don't like my plan B is make plan A work.
Facts.
Like, that's my focus. But I do have a plan. Like,
Yeah.
you get me? I do have a vision that I want the world to see. But you know, for kids that tell me that, I just sound like stay in school, bro. If you don't have a plan,
Yeah.
it's not bad. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people benefit from school. Majority.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like for a lot of kids, it's just they view with the internet now and all the information that we're
Yeah.
accessing, it's like school's become one of those things that's like it hasn't caught up with like because like, kids are 4 and already know how to use an iPad in its fullest capacity. So then it's like they get to kindergarten, they technically already know how to do math.
Look at this shit. I already know this shit.
Yeah, like they practically already know like algorithms without even knowing that they're doing
No,
algorithms.
most definitely. And I think a big thing is it's like so easy to start rapping or
Yeah.
like starting a clothing line.
Yeah,
So that's why most kids, you know, tend to
Just go
be
for
on
it.
that. Yeah. But eventually you'll find out it's way more to it.
yeah.
You could start, but not a lot finish. So
And what was your way of like when you first started? Like, how did you view starting a clothing brand when you first started doing it?
I didn't know shit, bro. Like
Yeah.
I was freestyling, like just learning. I mean, the internet is a great teacher.
Yeah.
YouTube has been my teacher most of my life.
YouTube University.
Yeah, YouTube University.
facts.
Shout out them. But yeah, I didn't know shit. I was just learning and failing, like I said. Like that's a big part, bro. Failing is
Yeah.
essential to success.
Because it's like I feel like for a lot of people when they don't fail in their career, especially with like music and fashion, there's people that off like one like T, it becomes like everyone's latest fashion statement. H&M does it, and Forever 21 does
Yeah.
it, and then it's like they come back with like their next release and it's just a failure, and it's like because it's like they didn't know how to deal with it, and I feel like for you to have longevity, you have to have those fuck ups, and you had to fail 1,000 times.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, like I said, man, like it wasn't easy. Like with those two, I had two fire starters, like I said, and you know it's just a learning process that you have to go through. I think everybody goes through it till you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm still far from that light.
Yeah.
But, you know, I keep fading still, but it helps me.
Yeah.
You're only getting closer.
Yeah, of course. As long as you know, the day you quit is the day you completely fail.
Yeah. And where do you stand? Like, are you the type of person? Are you very hard on yourself, or are you very much like?
I overthink a lot,
Mm-hmm.
a shit ton. So I just been trying to like practice more of living in the present. I feel like that's key. You know, just being more spiritual with stuff and like, you know, cause I'm a big overthinker for sure.
Yeah. Especially with clothing, because it's like you have like 1,000 ideas of what you want to do in a shirt, but something wouldn't look good on a shirt, and then it's like, what could I put it on? Like, it's the must be
No,
tough.
I mean my creative process is more like my creative process is, you know, it goes on right now. Like I draw inspiration from like conversations, going to museums, going out, watching movies, you know. So it starts like in the present, and when you sit down and design, it's kind of like it all comes back to you. So I think the best method is, at least for me, is not thinking. You get what I mean? Like just letting your mind go freely, like flow freely,
Yeah.
and that's when ideas start to manifest.
When you were in high school, like what were some of the brands that you would wear like religiously? Like you swore by that brand.
I didn't have money for like those brands, but it was mostly like Stray Rats. They're from Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
A lot of that. And of course I knew like the undercover brands, Supreme and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were a lot of brands I liked back in high school.
And like, how do you view like now like Miami's culture with fashion and like in the creative scene?
I definitely see it improving. I see a lot of more kids like, you know, really coming to their own and
Yeah.
creating. But I see it more in Broward, to be honest with you, than
Broward
Miami.
is booming right now.
I see it more in Broward, that entrepreneur spirit,
Yeah.
especially in
that
fashion. What do I think that is?
Yeah.
I feel like because Miami is such a high concentrated nightlife city, you know, so like the majority of these young people, they immediately go into transition to the nightclub life.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's the reason.
Were you never one of those kids? You never like going out, or?
Man, I hated the club, bro. I fell asleep at the club once.
For real?
Oh my God.
Yes,
I feel
man.
you. I'm the same.
Like if it's not VIP, then I'm not. You feel me?
But
No.
said if it's not VIP,
Yeah, he's very big on the VIP because I remember you used to throw like these parties when you were back like before you left Houston, like the Playboy ones.
Yes, our Playboy theme parties. Yes.
Yeah. How are those like? How are those parties?
The Miami one was crazy until, you know, people like to fight and all that at
Yeah.
parties, so they fucked it up.
Fuck.
Was it the questions that you were asking on Instagram? One of the questions to do with something like that was hold up, let me find it. The Ian Connor and Osiris.
The Bloody Osiris. altercation.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
They were asking what was that altercation like?
Yeah. To make that long story short, basically, we co-hosted that party with another group,
Yeah.
and they were doing a whole bunch of fuck up shit throughout the whole night. And you know, Osiris and Ian, they only knew. Like I know you laugh because you know. But yeah, Osiris and Ian only knew me and
Yeah.
VBTL. So when they showed up, they see like the party's ending and all that. You know, they were charging kids 80 at the door. For,
Fuck.
like, so obviously they thought it was us. But you know, we talked it out, got it cleared out. You know, they handled what they needed to handle, and we're cool.
How's that relationship with Ian Connor?
No, I mean, like when I say we're cool, like we don't talk at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but you know, I'm not like I got Osiris' number, but I'm not one to like, you know,
hit 'em up
I
like
just do
that.
my own thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it's cool. There's no like beef or anything.
That's good.
How do you go about throwing one of those? Like, do you just like run like an Airbnb, or is it like a homeboy with a spot?
B&B's, to be honest with you.
For real?
Yeah.
How does that work? Cause you have to pay like do you pay extra fees or something, or how is that? Cause like I'm not sure Airbnbs are like are they okay
Well,
with that.
yeah, I don't even think I should say this, but
Cause I'm sure like the cleanup's a bitch.
yeah, you just gotta do some things. And like,
Yeah.
it's all good. To be honest, I mean, there's a lot of times, yeah, it's gonna be messy as fuck afterwards. They charge you fees, but there's ways around it.
So why'd you decide to come back to Miami after Houston and everything?
Yeah.
Like I said, it was mostly because of Europe, the
Mhm.
design school. So, I mean, obviously here in Miami, I got like a lot more people that I know, and it's just easier to like make bread and all that.
Yeah.
But it was mostly for Europe.
Mm. Well, it's that time of this part of the show that we gotta talk about because you posted on your Instagram story that you want people to ask you questions. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
pass the phone. So you use your phone for the account? No, your phone.
Oh, I have
Need
some.
like theme
Or do you-
music.
Huh?
Like theme music or some shit.
You need theme music.
You screenshotted them?
No, so you choose the account. Can you use your phone for the
Wall.
account?
3, 2, 1.
All right. Oh wait, is it on your account?
Yeah, I just posted
But you can watch a story.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, y'all could pick whatever.
That's crazy.
It's a good
Question in
amount.
particular that like kind of came out to you.
Bro, I just posted and
Yeah.
You just
I didn't even
posted. You
read
even look
them.
at
So
it.
it was from us to.
I didn't even read them.
All right. So one question is, have you hit a low point in your life?
Yeah, like I said, when I went to Houston and I found myself like without a home, couch hopping,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was the lowest point in my life.
And what are your plans for the future of VBTL and for your personal life? And what are your goals?
VBTL, like I said, it's just moving on to the next city, and then eventually next country. I kind of want to make it like the Silk Road of fashion, bro. Like I just want to like connect people and all that,
Yeah.
connect creatives, and then personally, put out collections for Akina and just grow that brand.
And essentially what do you want to do with Akina? Because if it was just a clothing brand, it would be like Akina more toward clothing, but yours is Akina Studios.
What is
So-
the whole team behind that? What is your whole team?
I mean, the studios is not really like design studio or like
Yeah.
it's kind of like I kind of compare. It's kind of funny. Like I kind of compare it to like in music. Like how everybody has like Lil.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
A lot of people have studios. It sounded right
Okay,
though.
so
Yeah.
you are Akina Studios.
Yeah.
Essentially. Okay.
So do you eventually want to venture to other things or just stay in fashion?
Nah,
And
most definitely want to
interior
venture
design.
into other things.
Yeah.
I'm into interior design, architecture. But I just need to reach that upper echelon
Yeah.
of fashion first.
And how long do you plan on being in Europe for school?
It's like 2 or 3 years,
That's not bad.
and then yeah.
And then next question is, in what ways have you been privileged?
I'll be honest. I think it comes back to like when I was born, bro. Like just the privilege of being able to be alive, because I wasn't even supposed to be alive. Like I forget the exact term, bro, but like my mom always told me like, yo, like you're supposed to be dead. Like the doctor said like you had a slim chance.
For real?
Yeah, I don't know the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget, but yeah,
And
be like that.
your view on the usage of fur in the fashion industry?
I'm definitely against the usage of fur in the fashion industry. I think it's like very barbaric and old fashioned.
Yeah.
And you personally won't see any fur on like Akina products at all.
So where does Akina products get made? Like, do you want to have it set in a certain place to get manufactured?
It's all in house as of right now.
So how do you
Like,
go
we all do
about?
it.
Robin?
Like I personally like, and my team does it. Like we do the clothes.
So how do you go about getting like the fabrics and everything? Is it do you order from like out of country or is it all domestic?
Online, you
Bro.
could find a lot of fabric online.
Because for like a lot of designers, they prefer to like feel the fabrics and like go about.
Yeah, that's
all
why you
that.
order swatches.
What are those?
Swatches are like
Like makeup swatches.
like
for
samples.
Oh.
Yeah, like fabric samples,
Uh-huh.
fabric swatches.
Next question is gonna be, if you could go back in time and meet your younger self, what would you tell him?
I'll tell him keep doing you. I'm not like that question. I never like, cause it's like I'm not big on like changing what you did in the past, cause it's like everything was supposed to happen, the way it happened for you to be in the position you are now, even if you regret some stuff. So I don't really want to change anything.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people they get stuck in that, and like I feel like that prevents your growth.
You guys believe in the butterfly effect?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit real.
It sure is, but I don't know. I think thinking back to the past and always just thinking about that, you just get stuck in like a trance in which you don't think forward. 'Cause it's like you take a step forward, and when you look back, you just fall over a couple steps. So I feel like the best thing is just to always like view where you're at the moment, see what's good about you and what's wrong about you, what needs fixing, and then keep pushing forward and think about how you can be better tomorrow.
Yeah, most definitely. The only time when I look at the past is just like learn from it.
Yeah.
You know, that's about it. But I wouldn't change my mistakes.
Yeah.
At all.
Especially with like the industry you're in, it's such a fast paced, and it's such like, especially now that everyone's starting a brand, it's so competitive.
Yeah.
That it's like anytime you stop and you don't think forward and what you're working on, and you don't do what you did yesterday, you just get caught, and then next you know someone's doing what you're doing.
Yeah, you know, and I mean with that, with what you said, like it's competitive. I feel like what I could tell most designers, like most upcoming people that want to do this, is like don't focus on the next person. You know, like I feel like you should compete with yourself and like just be a better version of the dude you were last week.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't get caught up in the competition.
Yeah, because you can get caught in this shit and it's just get lost in it.
Yeah.
But like, what do you like? What's one thing about like the fashion show you just hate? You just don't. That you just makes you like hate it.
I think a lot of time. I think it's like two things. It's like one is the fast fashion. What I mean by that is like the Forever 21s, the H&Ms, and all that. You know, I've seen a lot of like young creators. They get their ideas stolen, and that's never tight.
Fashion Nova's one of them too.
Fashion Nova.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen those things that like what they do is like Kim Kardashian will post a picture of like Kanye's clothing that he like handmade for her,
Yeah,
and then an hour later it's already on their website before it's even made.
Yeah.
And they just whip it up like in hours.
Yeah, no, they got those manufacturers that.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking luck.
Yeah,
Dude,
most definitely.
China and Japan, well, China, they get it done quick.
They're taking over the world.
Dude, it's insane. Like, have you seen those documentaries on how like China's so advanced? How like with like the installation of chips and the people already, and it's brutal, especially with like the technology over there. Like, have you seen this documentary about like people working out for like Samsung and Apple, and how like they become slaves to it, and what people would do, the only way they can get, they don't have lunch breaks, they get paid pennies, and like the only way they can get out is just jumping out to the windows and just committing suicide.
They have safety nets.
They've installed safety nets now,
They have safety
Oh yeah, I heard
so
about
they don't
that.
jump off.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Wait, where do they leave to go home? Like what the?
they're there, dude. Like
they usually like stay on like their, especially if they're working.
they have
on the
grounds. It's like living on a college campus.
iPhones.
Like-
we don't actually like. I wish I could talk to one of those workers. You feel me?
What happened?
I wish I could talk to one of those workers.
Dude, it's brutal because it's like their lives is all
insane.
based around working for these companies, and it's like the phones that we're using every day. Just like it's insane to think about. But who's the funniest in VBTL? That's a question.
I think the funniest is Lazo. Lazo, he's the funniest, man. That guy makes me laugh every time. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, Lazo.
And then one question is, if you get your clothes manufactured overseas, well, yeah, how are you able to find the manufacturer that you have? Because there's a ton of websites to go through.
I mean, all our stuff is in-house, like I said, so I wouldn't be able to tell you that. Yeah.
No, I was talking about like for the fabrics you use.
The fabrics, like finding the fabrics?
Yeah, like we could freaking your samples and everything like that. Like when we decide to like use like the one you have, because there's so
you
many.
You look at the fabric like that you're looking. You do your research on fabric, and
Mhm.
you know you'll find the website that has it.
And especially like, and everything that you're doing with fashion, everything, and like in like such a fast pace it is, like you don't have time to stop. What makes you happy in what you do? Because it's hard to find satisfaction in it.
I think it's the whole process of creating the garment, building the image for your brand.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's fun to me. You know, it's not really work, so that makes me happy personally.
And do you think that VBTL met expectations, or did they surpass them, or?
I don't get too caught up in like if we met expectations or not. You know, I kind of like I let the feedback tell me that. So
And one question is, did you get the name Akina from initial D?
nah, like I said, I got it from, you know,
Kira.
Akira.
And then
Who showed you that movie, anyways? Like, how did you come upon that?
Just researching, bro. You come
Researching,
across-
it just fucking popped up.
Yeah, I saw it on Tumblr first. And I was like, who the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy how Akira has like done so much.
Facts. It's like a pioneer.
It's exactly, you know. After Kanye kind of just praised it, everyone almost just raced to watch it.
Facts.
And now you see it on everything. I love it.
I think fashion's had like a big hand in making anime mainstream alongside rap music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But lately, you can see the inspiration. Like, for example, how like Supreme made the collab with Akira, and people didn't even know that it was
That's
a
hard.
movie. Was wearing it, and like I've like
Yeah.
seen people like around wearing the shirt, and I asked like this one girl, I'm like, have you ever seen Akira? And like I brought up a scene, and then she was like, what is that? And I'm like, it's a shirt you're wearing, dog. And then she was like, oh, I just got it around to. I didn't know. And I was like, oh,
Nah, I hate those type of people.
dude, it's the worst. And I feel like that's like the problem with fashion now is that there's so much being made, people forget why they're wearing what they're
Yeah,
wearing
like-
and what it even means.
I always tell people like, yo, bro, like, have you ever sat down and thought about why you like what you like?
Yeah.
Like, I think like most people don't do that. They just, you know, they just either follow a trend or something. But it's like, I don't know, like, why you like the design on that cup? Like, really sit down and take the time. I always tell people to do that.
Are you one of those thinkers, or like one of those people that, like when they look at something, they look at all the details?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, if I like something, I'm like, all right, why do I like this?
Yeah.
What makes it great?
Do you apply that method with your designs, like when you're starting to create your designs?
Not me personally. Like, when I finish a design, I have like, I always like what I call like a little mastermind group.
Yeah.
So those are the people I go to ask like, yo, what do you think about this? Yeah. I don't fall in love with my designs either. I don't think nobody should fall in love with their work.
Yeah, I don't think an artist ever ends
Because
up liking their work.
You'll never be like, once you're satisfied, what else can you do, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you'll never be satisfied with that.
Especially designers, like you, like if you look at any like famous designer, like Alexander McQueen, in specific, it's like they have like that constant like, like they always try to do better, and it's like it just drives you insane.
Yeah.
And it's like back to what we were talking about, how like now like fashion is just like people lack understanding and they don't appreciate what it is and what the meaning of things are. It goes back to people like not knowing like what's the difference between like style and fashion. And for you,
Yeah,
what do you
there's a
think?
big
like,
difference, man.
what do you think,
hate-
like,
I
the
hate when
difference
people
is?
like think it's the same thing, because it's not at all. You know, fashion is the trend. You know, how you put the piece together. You know, to stay up to times. Style is like something you're either born with or you're not. It's like a sixth sense in a way.
Mhm.
You know, 'cause like style is like I could wear like the ugliest shit, but I have style. So
Yeah.
to the outside perspective, you'll find it appealing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the difference. And I personally choose style over fashion. You know, I'm a big fan of like personal style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like whenever I hear kids say like, because there's some people that do, like I like my fashion and I like my style, and I feel like when you use the word style, it's more you're claiming it. When it's like it's
Yeah.
my style, and like a style is more subjective to like certain people, like just like your sense of style, not your sense of fashion. I feel like fashion is like it's a word that just has lost the meaning, because like
Every other word.
anything could be fashion,
Yeah, you could
but it's like
fucking throw on a garbage bag and poke a hole on the
Yes.
nipple with some heels, and it's
If it's a trend, it's fashion.
fashion. You know?
what are some current like trends that you like right now?
I mean the balaclavas, they're always in style right
Yes.
now.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
You know, I keep it real. I don't even follow up with trends like that. I know what's another trend. I know the Matrix green, like
Mhm.
the color green.
Neon in general.
Yeah, neon.
Neons are a
That's
thing.
big in that's a big trend right now.
Especially like girls, 'cause I see every picture of a girl with like that neon
Oh
two
yeah,
piece.
they want to be slime girls.
Yes, dude.
Slimecitos.
There's like
Slime
slime.
Cetas,
and
I've
every
never heard
caption
that
is
shit before.
schlat,
Schlep.
or you're not slime.
Yeah, nice.
I haven't seen any of those pictures.
What are some trends that you do hate? Because you know, like for me personally, I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of like the whole distressing thing, and the whole fear of God look wasn't my thing.
What is what are Don't like. I never liked the dad hat movement.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked it. I'm sorry if you.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
I never liked that. What else? Ripped jeans. It's very hard for me to like a ripped jean.
Nicky Wiki Poo's fucked.
Yeah. Nick, you're fucked. That's
Yeah,
true.
they see as a
Where is
babushka.
it?
Babushkas are fire.
He wouldn't even let me wear it. And oh man, let me wear it, man.
It's so fucking insane how like easily that can just be like inspired from like how A$AP Rocky wears babushkas.
Yeah.
And it's
He's,
just
he's like a gate holder. Bro.
exactly,
Like, he's like a
bro. He's literally like
gatekeeper. He's
dude
a
could put a
gatekeeper.
plastic
Yeah.
bag over his hair and that shit's on Twitter in like 20 seconds.
And there's some people like they're like the gatekeepers. There's some that just won't go away. It's A$AP, Kanye. As much people try to deny it, he kind of put dad shoes. They gave it that platform. Although Balenciaga had the Triple S already, he kind of set the note for it.
Like yeah, this is a thing now.
Yeah, because then you can see how like you go to Zara, every shoe they make is a big clunky 750, and 750 the 500, and I think that's like
Yeah, man, that's called power too.
yeah. And who are the gatekeepers in your eyes?
In fashion,
Yeah.
definitely Rocky. He's at the top. You got Ian Connor. He's been a gatekeeper for a minute. Bloody Osiris. Those are like the main gatekeepers in fashion right now, to be honest. There's a couple other ones I might be forgetting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what's your view? Because I know, like, as a creative, you already get lost in your head, and you're your biggest fan and your biggest hater at the same time. So it's like, how do you do that when you go on social media and there's so many people telling you different things? Like, what's your view on social media, and how do you kind of balance everything with that?
Well, I'm a big believer in like duality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I appreciate like the negative and the positive in things.
Yeah.
So I don't really look too deep into it. I mean, whatever you do in life, there's always gonna be people talking shit and people liking what you do. That just means you're on the right route.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I mean, it'd be bad if everybody talks sweet about you, 'cause then there's like some fake stuff going on. So I think having the right balance, it shouldn't bother you at all. So.
And where do you stand? Because I know, like, today we lost someone that, like, in like our community, Nipsey Hussle, due to getting gunned down in his own hometown.
RIP.
And it's a shame because it's like you always receive the most love, yet the most hate from the place that you try to rep and try to do the most for. And he was someone in which he like donated millions to his community, built a store in Crenshaw, like a high-tech current store that they didn't have, and then he gets murdered right in front of it. And where's like, how's your stance on that? Because I know like you're one of the first tweets I saw, like once it like was announced that he died, saying that like your hometown didn't have, like, you don't get the most love in your hometown, it has like the most hate.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like, that's how it goes. It's like a trend, man. You saw what happened with X and all that, and there's a bunch of other rap speaker knockers, Lil Snoop. I think it's just, it's not a like. I always tell people like, man, if you make it somewhere, I think you should always just get out of your city.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing you should do, man. Me personally, like I received the most hate from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what do you think is that?
I feel like it's just envy. It's like they see you when you're nothing. So it's like what the hell? He's on this level now. Like he surpassed me. Like we were just right here like a couple months ago. So.
And what do you say was like the biggest misconception people have about you? Because everyone's misunderstood, and there's always that one attachment that people put to everyone's name that just isn't, and it's a complete contrary. So for you, what do you think that is for you?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. I think a lot of people think I'm like an asshole from first sight.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess. Yeah, they just think I'm an asshole, and I am closed off though. Like I don't really fuck with people like that. But I'm not an asshole either. That's a common misconception people have. I'm cool once you get to know me.
Yeah. And for you, how do you view people that, like, when they like just don't fuck with you? Do you just keep it as you don't fuck with me, that's cool, or do you try to like meet them at a certain place and just kind of like talk it out and like just try to like squash it?
Nah, I just you don't fuck with me. I just don't acknowledge you. Simple as that.
Was it harder to have that mentality when you were in high school, especially going to the high school that you went to?
People that didn't fuck with me in high school, man. I always had the same mentality. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm still do me, you know.
Yeah.
End of the day, these people don't pay my bills. They don't do shit. So
Facts.
Yeah, I think everyone gets lost in that, cause it's like, dude, like especially when those people find like that one soft spot, even when they don't try to, and it's like, fuck, it's hard to like argue it.
yeah, man. People at the end of the day, they just want a response from you.
Yeah.
So you don't give them a response. It's like you drive them crazy.
Facts.
Did you ever do that starting off when you got like your first ever like hate comments on Twitter or Instagram? Were you ever like, man, fuck you, or like, how was it for
Nah,
you?
I never cared, bro. I
Oh.
really don't. It takes a lot to like piss me off. I just don't care most of the time.
Very nonchalant person, very closed off.
Yeah, I just do me, bro. I be busy in a lot of other things to
Mhm.
worry about what someone's saying.
And what would you say to those listening who just want to start a brand right now and like they don't know where to start to and they have no one to look up to?
Build a team around you. It's the best thing I could say, man. Like being in VBTL, you know, I learned a lot from like people like Corrupt. You know, he has Colvin Eslo with Palicos. Just build a team around you and study the game. That's all I could say. You know.
And where's one place people can find you at where you're most active on?
Instagram more than Twitter now. So, but it's all the same handle, Lou X Owens. You know,
Mhm.
you can find me there.
And what was the inspiration behind that name, Lou Owens?
What you mean, it's my name?
And, like, is it your actual birth name or is it like?
Yeah, it's my name.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Really?
It's a hard ass name.
That's hard.
Is
Thank
Lou's,
you.
like short for anything, or is it just Luke?
Louise.
Louise.
Ah. Nain, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram, fuck Twitter, at Nain the Cruise, spelled Nain.
Where can they find you, Betsy?
On Twitter, you guys can find me at _Betsy Rodriguez and Instagram, Betsy Rodriguez with 2 Z's.
And you guys can find me at Thrifted Jeans on Twitter and thrifted.jeans on Instagram. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the first video on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Check out VBTL and everything Lou's doing. He'll be in the description down below. Don't forget
Thank you so
to
much for
give us a
coming, bro.
rating. And yeah, see you guys again next week.